Have you ever witnessed a moment so raw, so catastrophic, that you instantly knew nothing would ever be the same again? That is exactly what we just experienced with Vanessa McBride and Dani Dupree. We all knew Vanessa was teetering on the edge of a massive psychological cliff, but her latest breakdown didn't just push her over the edge, it completely shattered the landscape of Fairmont Crest's criminal underworld. A single delirious slip of the tongue has just handed the police the ultimate smoking gun, and the fallout is going to be absolutely apocalyptic. Let's set the scene and truly analyze the sheer gravity of what just went down. Vanessa is entirely broken. She is suffocating under the crushing weight of severe anxiety, haunted by the ghost of her late husband, Doug McBride. We all know Doug's demise was shrouded in mystery and danger, and the trauma of that loss has left Vanessa in a permanent state of hypervigilance. Now, she is watching her current partner, casino owner Joey Armstrong, sprint down that exact same treacherous path. Joey is a man who thrives in the gray areas, but his recent activities have crossed the line from shady casino dealings into full-blown, life-threatening organized crime. In a state of complete emotional collapse, Vanessa issues a desperate SOS. Who does she call? Dani Dupree. That makes perfect sense. Dani is a rock. She is grounded, empathetic, and despite dealing with her own horrific flashbacks and complex marriage history with Bill Hamilton, she has a profound capacity for offering grace and support. Vanessa doesn't just need a friend, she needs a vault. She needs someone to absorb her terror. But when you are spiraling in a panic attack, the filter between your brain and your mouth completely dissolves. And then it happens. The fatal slip. The moment that made every single viewer gasp at their screens. Through her tears and delirium, Vanessa loses her grip on the secret she has been guarding with her life. She blurts out the unthinkable. Plasma. Joey is in too deep with those blood bags and dirty money. Boom. There it is. The absolute worst thing she could have possibly said to anyone, let alone the mother-in-law of the lead detective investigating the case. We need to pause here and dissect the sheer magnitude of this dialogue. Blood bags and dirty money. This wasn't a vague complaint about Joey's gambling debts or a minor legal infraction. This was a direct, undeniable confirmation of Joey's involvement in the illegal red market plasma ring that has been terrorizing the town. This is the very same syndicate that corrupted Dr. Leah Whitmore. This is the very same criminal enterprise that resulted in the tragic, heroic death of Derek Baldwin. Vanessa didn't just share a secret. She handed over the launch codes to a nuclear weapon. Now, look at this from Dani's perspective. Imagine sitting across from your grieving, terrified friend, offering her a shoulder to cry on, and suddenly realizing you are harboring information about a deadly criminal syndicate. Dani is instantly paralyzed by shock. The word plasma isn't just a medical term in Fairmont Crest anymore. It is synonymous with murder, corruption, and a ruthless mastermind known only as the Impaler. Dani is faced with the ultimate moral dilemma. Does she keep her friend's darkest secret, honoring the sacred code of friendship? Or does she do the right thing for her family and her community? Let's be real for a second. Dani is a mother first and foremost. Her daughter, Naomi, is married to Jacob Hawthorne. Jacob is the undercover cop who has been sacrificing his sanity, his safety, and his marriage to bring down this exact plasma ring. Jacob was standing right there when Derek Baldwin took a bullet meant for him. The trauma of that event has given Jacob severe PTSD and survivor's guilt. For Dani, the logic is agonizing but crystal clear. Protecting Vanessa's secret means allowing the syndicate to continue its reign of terror. It means leaving her son-in-law Jacob, wandering in the dark, hunting a faceless enemy while putting his own life on the line every single day. Dani simply cannot allow that. She makes the gut-wrenching decision to cross the ultimate line. She takes the information straight to her daughter, Naomi, to warn Jacob about the lethal danger radiating from Joey Armstrong. Was this a betrayal? Yes, absolutely. But was it justified? That is the question that makes this storyline so incredibly brilliant. Dani is sacrificing her friendship to save lives. It is a calculated, devastating choice. She knows that once Jacob acts on this intel, Vanessa will immediately know who leaked it. The bond between Dani and Vanessa is essentially standing on a landmine, and Dani just intentionally stepped off the trigger. When Naomi receives this information, the fear in her eyes is palpable. She has been watching Jacob unravel for weeks. She knows his obsession with catching the Impaler is tearing him apart from the inside out. He even moved out of their home just to protect her while he dives deeper into his undercover thug persona. Naomi doesn't hesitate. She delivers the intel to Jacob, passing the deadly torch from the Dupree family straight to the Fairmont Crest Police Department. And this brings us to the most satisfying yet terrifying pivot in the entire narrative, Jacob Hawthorne's epiphany. When Jacob hears the words Joey Armstrong and plasma in the same sentence, you can practically see the cinematic corkboard in his brain lighting up with red string. Everything suddenly connects. The casino, the money laundering, the sheer untouchability of the operation. Joey Armstrong isn't just a sleazy businessman. He is the nexus of the entire red market. For Jacob, this isn't just a clue. It is the final puzzle piece he has been bleeding for. It is his smoking gun. Think about the psychological shift in Jacob at this exact moment. He has been drowning in grief, making dark promises to avenge Derek's death, and operating blindly against a phantom. Now, the phantom has a name, an address, and a casino. Jacob's transformation from a traumatized reactive victim into a hyper-focused, lethal hunter is going to be spectacular television. He finally knows exactly where to aim his badge and his gun. But while Jacob is gearing up for the bust of the century, we have to look at the catastrophic collateral damage this is going to cause. First, let's talk about the friendship between Dani and Vanessa. It is doomed. There is absolutely no coming back from this. When the police kick down the doors of Joey's casino, Vanessa is going to realize that her moment of vulnerability was weaponized. She will view Dani not as a savior, but as a traitor who sent her boyfriend to prison, or worse, to his grave. The tragic irony here is suffocating. Dani broke Vanessa's trust in a desperate attempt to protect her family, but in doing so, she has virtually guaranteed Vanessa's destruction. Because let's not forget the most terrifying element of this entire equation, the syndicate. The plasma ring is not run by amateurs. They are commanded by the Impaler, a ruthless, bloodthirsty crime boss who is finally stepping out of the shadows. We already know Joey and his henchman Randy Parker are scheduled to meet the Impaler face to face. The rumors are swirling that the Impaler might even be Joey's own sister, Heather Armstrong. Regardless of who is wearing the crown, one rule in the criminal underworld remains absolute: rats do not survive. Vanessa's slip of the tongue didn't just give the police a lead. It painted a massive glowing target on her own back. When the syndicate realizes there is a leak, they aren't going to politely ask Joey to plug it. They are going to eliminate the threat. Vanessa is now in mortal danger. She was terrified of Joey ending up like Doug, but she has inadvertently set the stage for her own execution. Will Joey be able to protect her from the Impaler's wrath? Or will Joey be forced to choose between his own survival and the woman who accidentally sold him out? Here is a wild twist of perspective to chew on. Did Vanessa subconsciously want to be caught? Psychology tells us that people harboring massive, traumatizing secrets often leave a trail of breadcrumbs because the burden of the lie is too heavy to carry. Vanessa is a smart woman. She knows Dani is deeply connected to the police through Jacob. Perhaps, deep down in her fractured psyche, Vanessa knew exactly what she was doing. Maybe she realized that the only way to save Joey from himself and to save herself from the syndicate was to blow the whole thing up. By trauma dumping on Dani, she effectively forced someone else to pull the trigger, absolving herself of the active choice while ensuring the nightmare finally comes to an end. It is a brilliant, twisted defense mechanism. As we brace ourselves for the impending explosion, the stakes have never been higher. Jacob is loading his weapons. Joey is walking blindly into a trap. Dani is bracing for the loss of a friend, and Vanessa is sitting directly in the crosshairs of a ruthless crime boss. The red market is about to bleed out all over the pristine streets of Fairmont Crest. So I leave you with this thought. When the dust settles and the sirens fade, who will pay the ultimate price for Vanessa's confession? Will Jacob finally get his justice for Derek? Or will Vanessa become the next tragic victim of the plasma ring? Let me know your theories, because this is one storm nobody is walking away from unscathed.